Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm finally bringing you the Poison Ivy 2.0 deep dive. Let me start by saying this. I'd like to praise all the rogue content creators out there because they're the reason I started doing my own content. They're the reason I picked up rogue in the first place in my first Diablo game ever, and I'm having such a blast. So thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. But whenever like these days, whenever I see a video of a rogue guide, it's always either a complete monster against Lilith and then a wet noodle in 100 nightmare dungeons, or it's so tanky that you have to play the mechanics for Lilith, which for me, for example, means I cannot kill her. Like, I am so bad at Lilith mechanics. I cannot avoid any of the razors in phase 1. I just don't know how. I don't see where it's going and where it's coming from. I cannot avoid a single blister. So what I had to do was come up with a build, literally the best all-around build that can do it all, and I'm very happy with what I come up with. It's the Poison Ivy 2.0. You never ever till the season ends have to touch your Paragon board again. There is I am very confident to say there is nothing better you can do in this game. It's literally the absolute min-max board you can get for PvE, and it also works in PvP. But let's be honest, PvP is so much different from PvE. You need all the different hearts, you need all the different aspects. Even the stat priorities are so completely different that I advise you to get a completely different build for PvP, or maybe even a second rogue, so that you don't have to change your skills, etc. So that's my recommendation for PvP. But for PvE, once again, I'm confident there is nothing better you can do. It's the perfect balance between damage and survivability. You can do 100 nightmares with ease. You can do Butcher. He doesn't do anything. You just overheal him. You kill him in stagger, etc. You kill Lilith while skipping all the mechanics. Like, whew, I am so excited and so happy that I can show this build to you guys. Anyway, thanks for listening. Sorry for the long intro. Let's get right into it. So, for skills, we are going with, of course, Puncture, Enhanced Puncture, Fundamental Puncture, 5 points in Twisting Blades, Enhanced Twisting Blades, Improved Twisting Blades, 3 points into Sturdy, and 2 points into Siphoning Strikes. In the 100 Nightmare version, we are playing Momentum, so we don't really need the extra healing from that 1 point. We need it elsewhere to get the perfect balance of survivability and damage. Here we are taking 3 points in Weapon Mastery, 1 point in Shadow Step, 1 point in Enhanced Shadow Step, 1 point in Dash, and 1 point in Enhanced Dash. This is up to you. This is what I am using because we are focusing still on crit strike damage as well, for the AoE damage and for the damage when we don't have our poison imbuement up. So this helps a lot. But if you want to focus on being faster, on skipping a lot of stuff, it's definitely good when you are playing on mouse and keyboard. You can move this point into Disciplined Shadow Step to be able to jump around a little bit more. Unfortunately, on gamepad, Shadow Step is a little bit gimmicky, at least with my sloppy hands. I don't know how to choose the right target, so sometimes I just like jump on the target right in front of me instead on the mob right at the end where I actually want to jump. But Shadow Step is actually kinda OP. As long as you see the enemy, you can jump on it and you can even skip texture. Like, if like half of your screen is just a black texture, like you're not supposed to walk through it, but you see the enemy and its health bar, like in the corner of your screen, you can jump on it, but not with a controller. You can do that with mouse though, and it's really busted. I don't think it's supposed to work like that, but it does, so I leave that up to you. 1 point in rapid gambits, 1 point in trick attacks, 1 point in smoke grenade, 1 point in enhanced smoke grenade, and countering smoke grenade. This is very lucky hit based build, so you basically have like no cooldown on smoke grenade whatsoever, and it's another extra damage you get to make up for the loss of close quarters combat, because this is momentum build, or that's my recommendation for a casual player or an average player, because it's the easiest one to play. But of course, in the description down below I will have close quarters combat version as well. Well, basically it's the Poison Ivy, the original version with the new Paragon board. So yeah. But if you really disliked smoke grenade, you can opt for a poison trap. In that case, you would take poison trap, enhance poison trap, and countering poison trap to have a chance to reset your poison imbuement, because this is poison heavy build, so the chance to reset it is really helpful. We get 3 points into exploit here as well, 3 points in precision imbuement. As I've said, very lucky hit based build, so if you're lucky you will be proccing bursting venoms a lot, so most of your skills will be imbued, so you benefit a lot from this, and it also helps you in single target against bosses. 5 points into poison imbuement, enhanced poison imbuement, and blended poison imbuement, 1 point in deadly venom, and 3 points in alchemical knowledge. Once again, this is momentum, so we already got the damage reduction, so we don't need more damage reduction from debilitating toxins. Instead, we take 3 points here. This way, we only need to poison 5 enemies to get the full benefit, which is 15% attack speed, nearly making up for close quarters combat. 3 points into Frigid Finesse. This is still build focusing on freezing all the enemies around us at all times, and thus it benefits the most out of Frigid Finesse. Well, basically since my first build, I think this passive is the best in the game, as long as you are playing with Penitent Griefs and you are focusing on chilling enemies around and freezing them. Like, there's no better modifier. 3 points into Innervation, 3 points in Second Wind, 1 point in Adrenaline Rush, 3 points in Haste, and then of course Momentum. That's it for the skills. Now let's have a look at the items. So on our helmet, what you want is max life, 4 ranks of poison imbuement, total armor, and basic skill attack speed. Again, the attack speed there makes up for the loss of close quarters combat. In my opinion, actually making momentum do more damage, or close to, or at least the same damage as close quarters does, because we can, you know, get rid of resource generation stat on our ring. We don't need it. Momentum does that. As I've said, debilitating toxins, we don't need it, because momentum does that for us. So we are taking more damage nodes, more damage stats on our items, so I think it might actually even be more damage. Plus, of course, the survivability that close quarters combat doesn't get you. For our aspect here, we are going for Frostbitten. As I've said, still focus is on freezing everything all around us. On our chest, we go for damage reduction from distance, damage reduction from close, flat damage reduction, and total armor. And the aspect here is might for some more damage reduction. On our gloves, crit strike chance, lucky hit chance, attack speed, and obviously 4 ranks of twisting blades. The aspect here is shared misery. It's definitely the best aspect, in my opinion, in Nightmare Dungeons, because you are CCing everything all around you before the mobs even get to you to be able to attack you. This literally provides survivability and damage as well, because when you spread the freeze, then you do more damage. For our legs, damage reduction from distance, damage reduction from close, total armor, and once again you would want damage reduction flat. I got damage reduction from enemies that are poison here. I'm fine with that. It's a good roll, and we are using stolen vigor aspect here so that our momentum heals us. This is 1000 HPS heal. Originally, I tested it out on my amulet just to get another almost 500 HPS, but it turned out to be a little worse because losing almost 1500 armor was simply too much of a damage reduction loss to make up for that with 500 HPS. So my recommendation is momentum on Lex. It also gives you the opportunity to simply have either another pair of Lex with UMBROUS aspect if you want to play close quarters combat. You know, or like if you simply just wanna swap the aspect, all you gotta change is the aspect on your legs. So that's, yeah, definitely my recommendation. Penitent Greaves, self-explanatory, best boots in the game for rogue. For our crossbow, we are doing vulnerable damage, core skill damage, all stats, and dexterity. These are super important. If you don't have core skill damage there, you can go for crit strike damage as well. Yes, crit strike damage even with a poison build, because it still benefits our twisting blade, so it's still a very good stat to get. But this is like what you should be aiming for. A little bit more dexterity, a little bit more all stats would be very nice, but well, I wasn't that lucky there. Aspect here is accelerating, still the best aspect on your crossbow. Attack speed is extremely good for any poison build, any lucky hit based build, because the faster obviously you attack, the faster you are able to proc those. As for our gems here, we are using purple gems for damage over time, because as I've said in my previous videos, Barber is actually a shadow damage over time. It's not flat shadow damage, so it benefits from damage over time sockets. It increases its damage. Like, the difference in Barber Explosion is not that huge by itself, but what is huge is that once you focus your build around Poison Imbuement, it not only benefits Barber, but of course your poisons. So this is definitely the best gem to use. On our weapon, what you want is vulnerable damage, core skill damage, all stats, and now this is very, very important, and I just wasn't able to get it after spending almost 2 billion on trying to get weapons, reroll weapons and some rings, but you want dexterity. If you don't have this dexterity on your weapon there, you cannot reach all the rare nodes in the Paragon board, so then you have to either choose, do I want 10% more non-physical damage, or do I want 6.5% more damage reduction against elites? I personally chose the damage reduction because I felt like the damage is not as necessary, but obviously if I manage to stumble upon a good dagger there with dexterity, I'd immediately jump and get it so that I can get that sweet 10% non-physical increased damage. Aspect here is Blade Dancers, self-explanatory, no twisting blade build, can be played without it. And what is OP? Once again, I think it's not supposed to work like that, it's more like a bug, is that the orbit from twisting blades is applying Poison Imbuement. That's obviously how it's supposed to work. But it applies the Poison Imbuement at 100% damage. Okay, so even though they're orbiting to you like 15 to 30% damage or whatever, the poison imbuement that they apply, the damage over time that they apply, is calculated like if that damage was 100% twisting blade damage. So it's really busted. For our other weapon, obviously a Shira Skanjar, best dagger in the game for any poison build, any lucky hit based build. Then for our rings, vulnerable damage, crit strike damage, lucky hit chance, crit strike chance. This is like a perfect ring. Could be better rolls, but you know, it is what it is. For our aspect here, bursting venoms, so that obviously we can use poison imbuement as much as possible. And our heart here is Heart of Revenge for that sweet extra damage reduction. The AoE does not really matter that much. For our other ring, what you want is vulnerable damage, max life, again lucky hit instead of the crit strike damage. I wasn't that lucky to get it, and then crit strike chance. The aspect here is Pestilent Points. Pestilent Points helps us not only with damage and poisoning enemies, but also with the ability to proc bursting venoms more. So this, with all the attack speed that we're getting, is mwah. For the heart, we are using the Grenadier, I think it's called, so that we have a chance to throw stun grenades around. That works with our Frostbitten aspect to make all the enemies around us frozen. It also helps you with Stagger against bosses, against Lilith, to get them there faster. For our amulet, the last item, what we want is Aspect of Disobedience and 4 stats. Energy cost regeneration, 3 ranks of all imbuements, total armor, and 3 ranks of frigid finesse. And for our heart, we are still playing Barber, because at least for Nightmare Dungeons, Barber is still, in my opinion, the best, because you're moving a lot, so you're not proccing bursting venoms as much. So there are fights where you might not proc it at all, so you are relying just on your Twisting Blades damage and on your Barber damage, you know. So if you were playing Creeping Death there, then it is actually an AoE DPS loss. Though if you like playing with Creeping Death, just do it. Just do it. It works and it's good. It's just not my preference. And it actually does way more damage against bosses. Of course, Creeping Death is the boss destroyer and the Lilith destroyer. So this is it for the items, for the hearts. Now I will show you what 3 items you need to basically swap this into Uber Lilith build. So 3 items that are a must-have are Fists of Fate to stagger her before she can use any of her mechanics. Another set of amulet. Here you don't really want damage reduction. It would be energy cost reduction, 3 ranks of all imbuement, 3 ranks of frigid finesse, and then flat damage, flat dexterity, anything that gives you more damage. But as you could have seen in my previous videos, we basically don't need the extra damage. Like, we are still instant killing her in stagger, so whatever, I can use this this amulet, no problem. And here, what we need to do is to put Aspect of Corruption there, because we don't need more armor against Lilith. We basically don't need close to no defensives against Lilith. So definitely Aspect of Corruption. It's an insane DPS increase. It's a must-have. And then our chest. On our chest, what you want is poison damage, cutthroat skill damage, imbuement skill damage, flat damage, anything that gives you damage. I have max life there, also fine, but yeah, anything that gives you damage. This is also a very good PvP chest, actually. Just you know, all of the damage. Then you can combine it with these legs that give you, you know, some damage reduction, some total armor. You only need total armor once in a PvP build, because the cap for armor there is 7,200 instead of 13,000 as it is for 100 nightmares. So yeah, like, you can combine these two and you already have a pretty good chance in PvP. So these 3 items is what you need to change, and then if you want to make the fight even easier, or like me, you know, save gold, save resources, not use not use any elixir, what you need to do is have one purple circuit ring. Again, preferably here, you would want a vulnerable, lucky hit, crit strike chance, and well, basically whatever. Could be crit strike damage, could be poison damage, preferably poison damage, because this is just against Lilith. Resource generation is also fine, but what is important here is the heart, and that's the lucky hit that our Cutthroat skills and our Marksman skills basically CC the enemy, so she gets into stagger even faster, and you'd swap it out for the blue ring because you don't need the damage reduction from it. But I have one video without elixir with the purple ring, one video with the crit strike damage build that I'm using for 100 Nightmare. In both videos, less than 2 minutes to kill Lilith, skip all the mechanics, so this is not necessary, this is optional. It is also extremely easy to go from 100 Nightmare build to Uber Lilith build. All you gotta do is go into abilities. We don't need these. We are not using it. What we need is more CC. So we put methodical shadow step point there to have a chance, not chance, but that the shadow step actually stuns the enemy. We don't need healing against Lilith. We don't need any DR against Lilith. So that's fine there. We also don't need the attack speed. It's basically just in AoE situations. So what we want is more lucky hit. We want to get rid of momentum and use close quarters combat there. We want poison trap, enhance poison trap, and I'm personally using subverting poison trap for more damage, because it's basically a stationary fight. She will always be in that poison trap battle. You can also use countering poison trap. That's especially good if you are not running elixir, or if you are not running elixir. That gives you lucky hit to be able to reset your poison imbuements more often. Then we put 3 points into Malice. Any damage increase is good, and then 3 points into Trap Mastery. Literally, once you get the hang of it. Yeah, that's how you say it, right? You can do this in 10 seconds. Going back and forth from Uber Lilith to 100 Nightmare, because you don't need to change a single Paragon point. That was the whole focus of this build, that you never have to touch your Paragon board again. Now let's have a quick look at the Paragon board. Obviously, I have the Paragon board in the description down below. What I'm gonna say is, it's very important to follow the order of the board. So if it says 1, 2, 3, then that's how you need to connect them together to be able to reach all of the rare nodes in the board. So starter board, we are doing closer. Then the other board, we are doing cunning stratagem and versatility. Then here, but this is not actually where we go next, we go to the left, but here we have efficiency, and the board is no witness. Here we have tricks of the trade, and the glyph here is devious for some sweet extra damage to elites here. Here we are using exploit a weakness board, and the glyph here is control. Here we are using cheap shot. We are still keeping cheap shot even for Lilith. As I said, you never have to change a single point. No more damage is needed, no more survivability is needed. This board got it all. For glyph, we are running Bane because this is a poison based build, and here we are running Eldritch Bounty, once again poison based build, focusing on poison imbuement, so more damage with imbued skills, with the element that the skill was imbued with, which is poison, is extremely valuable. And the last glyph is Kenny. Yes, a lot of people are asking me why Kenny, because Twisting Blades does not benefit from this, but poison damage does, the initial poison damage, the damage over time does, and also the barber damage benefits from this. So for the purpose of making this an all-around best build, the first true all-around build in the game, for this purpose we are running Kenny. If you don't like it or if you don't have it, you can very easily you know, exchange it for combat, because you don't need to move any points around to be able to proc its special effect, and it will still benefit you in terms of damage, in terms of you know, barber damage, your twisting blades. It will help you with energy regeneration as well, so it's definitely not a bad glyph to use. But yeah, Kenny is, where is it? Kenny is just better in my opinion. And I already told you, I was very unlucky in my pursuit of Dagger with all stats and dexterity as well. So I am not able to reach the last note here. Okay, so I'm losing 10% non-physical damage. If you had the best in slot gear, then that would not be an issue. What you can do, and what I've done, is that in my Paragon board, you know, the order is a little bit different. Cheap shot is actually at the end, but I had to choose, you know. Do I want more damage reduction from elites, or do I want more non-physical damage? Because, well, I still don't have the dagger. And I went for more DR. So if you are like me, you can go for more DR. Or you can go for more damage. It's really up to you. It's personal preference. So I hope I didn't forget anything. Oh, I did. And that's obviously our specialization, which is combo points. For elixirs, if you want to be using them, then what I suggest is either lucky hit, that's the best one, obviously, or attack speed, because again, attack speed, more attacks means more chances to proc our lucky hits, which means more damage, more healing, etc. So those are definitely my recommendations. You can also go for an elixir that gives you crit strike chance, or crit strike chance combined with crit strike damage. Like, all of those work and are really good. So I know it was a long video. I really wanted to do an actual deep dive to explain my choices, to explain the purpose of this build, what it does, and I think I've got it all. So yeah, this is also build that's my recommendation for beginners, because it's just so easy to play. It's just so easy to play because it's so overpowered. For the skills, a lot of the choices are up to your personal preference. What's important here is the Paragon board. That's basically 99% of any build. Like, that's what makes the damage. That's the make or break kind of thing. Whether you're a wet noodle, whether you're a glass cannon, whether you're balanced, or whether you're just a full tank. So I think this is the best balanced Paragon board out there, because it can do it all. As I've said, you never have to touch it again. As long as Poison Imbuement is in your build, then yeah, not a single point that you're ever gonna change. I'm very confident no one is ever gonna come with anything better. So thanks for watching. See ya in the next one.